Welcome back to Thrasher's Paradise, this time on a actual couch for Thrashing Couch. Today we are joined with a very special guest. He actually inspired the name for the channel. We're here with Chris from Jhofffilms. Chris, how are you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing excellent, thank you. Thank you for joining us on this fine evening. Now, Chris, the first question I got to ask is, as I just mentioned, you basically inspired the name of the channel. What's it like to know that you actually inspired someone to the point where they created the channel?
That's fucking awesome, man. I'm always happy to hear that sort of shit. Like, even it's just from people telling me that I inspired them to get into the genre or start sewing patches on the vest. That's awesome. That's what it's all about. You want to give back what, the music gave to you.
Exactly. Now, you've given back to us with a bunch of comedic skits with fellow YouTuber Julian Hoffman from Jhofffilms. You guys are now over 100,000 subscribers. What's next?
Well, ideally, we want to hit 200,000 by the end of 2020, which we should be able to. We're at 146,000 right now. We're just going to keep doing what we're doing. We have short films written. We have more skits written, obviously, like different series planned and shit. And just we've been filming a lot of content just throughout the year with other bands and stuff. So there's always going to be a lot more on the channel.
Excellent. Now, I'm going to point this out. I actually got Rip's interview debut before you guys had him for your Slayer video.
Yeah, I saw that. The Rip crib tour. That guy really likes Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes, he does. Now, when are you going to play some Ripper on the channel?
Well, one Ripper needs a bassist. So, yeah.
Speaking of bass, you are a fellow bass player.
Yeah.
What inspired you to pick up the bass and just start playing it?
Well, I wanted to play drums, actually, when I was younger. And my dad was like, no, I don't want band practice at my house. I was like, fair enough. And when I was younger, I was playing in my school orchestra, and I played Barry sax. Okay. So I was just next to the upright bassist and, like, all the whole rhythm section. I just like the low end of it. I just love how it sounded. And so I picked up the bass. And I never liked using a pick at all. So just prefer going at it that way.
Excellent. When do you plan on joining a band or creating a new band just to play the bass?
At some point in the future, sure, if the opportunity presents itself and I'm with the right people. I have been jamming a bit more on my own these days, so, ideally we'd like to incorporate it on the channel at some point, and, it's definitely an option for music on the horizon.
Excellent. Now, in one of your most recent videos a couple months ago, you went on tour with Warbringer and Enforcer. That had to be awesome. What was it like to sell merch with them all throughout Canada?
Oh, it was awesome. We got to meet a lot of people on that tour. Ottawa through Trois-Rivières, Sherbrooke, Montreal. It was great. It was a great time hanging with the boys. And it was really chill. Play the show, the day starts early. And for loading and getting everything going. So, but at the end of the night, you're just having beers, playing video games, kicking it.
Excellent. Now, there's one thing we both share in common. We've both sold merch for bands before. Mm-hmm. What is your favorite part about selling merchandise for bands?
If I'm being perfectly honest, is when someone gives me free weed. Like I on any tip jar I've ever had on merch, I'll just be like, money for weed or some other creative way of putting it on there. That's what I did. That's what I did on the Warbringer tour. If you zoom in, we got a PBR picture. We actually had like 6 pictures from this one venue because the owner was like, do you want them? And I can't remember who on the tour said yes. And then we threw out most of them. And then I was just like, no, keep the PBR one. I'll use it as a tip cup. Oh, yeah, I wrote pray for tips on it or something. Yeah.
Creativity at its finest. Now, there was this one segment from one of the Warbringer interviews you did where you talked about Thrash Bandicoot.
Yes.
And I want to get your personal opinion on this. Who, to you, is the more thrash metal video game character? I forget his name, but the roadie from Brutal Legend or Thrash Bandicoot?
That's not really a fair comparison because Jack Black is voicing that man. And I love Brutal Legend. It still bothers me that you can't jump in that game. So if they ever have a sequel, like, fuck, whoever's watching this, if you ever make a sequel, Jack Black, make it so you can jump, you fucking pigeon. Anyway, but yeah, so Thrash Bandicoot, it sounds way cooler.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for the Warbringer Thrash Bandicoot t-shirt.
That would, you know what? It's not a bad idea. Go at them on Instagram, maybe.
I would love to. Or what about a Jhofffilms Thrash Bandicoot t-shirt?
I mean, definitely if people You know, we already have a T-shirt that we already have a design for already, and that we're going to be doing pre-orders for come the new year.
Nice.
Yeah. So, but yeah, if people have shown enough interest in Thrash Bandicoot and we can find someone that can create that, then absolutely.
Excellent. Now, personally for you, how would you design the Thrash Bandicoot T-shirt design if it was to happen?
Well, it would have to be Thrash Bandicoot kind of looking like the Tasmanian Devil at some points, and then having maybe some empty beer cans around him or something. It's a very good question. Maybe put him on a car. I like cars.
Now, one of the signature things you're known for in the videos is your illustrious can of beer.
Yes.
Multiple different versions of it.
Yeah.
There's been a bunch. What is personally your favorite beer?
There are so many good local breweries in Toronto, and you know, none of you are endorsing me right now, so I'm not inclined to say any one of you. But if someone really had to put money in my pocket, Steam Whistle, please endorse me.
See, I'm still waiting for you guys to get a beer sponsor. That's surprising.
So are we. But you know, to be perfectly fair though, it's not like we're drinking beer responsibly at any point. But you know what? If someone wants to make money off of that, Budweiser, I don't give a shit. Someone endorse us.
Fair enough. Now, if you were to create your own brewery, what would you name it, and what would you name your first beer?
Bonded by hops, probably, because I'd want it to be an IPA. And then the name of the brewery. That's a good question. Beer without end, maybe. Because that would be the end game of the product. I want to put out enough beer for everyone.
That actually does sound like a great name. Now, we're going to do something on here. We're ripping you off for a second. Your latest video, you had people draw the cattle decapitation logo in under a minute.
Yes.
So we're going to have you do it, but with the Jhofffilms logo. I know it's basic, but we have this notebook here and a pen. I'm going to get a timer out.
There's lines on this. What the fuck?
Yeah, I grabbed the wrong notebook, so we're just improvising at last minute. You have no, not 1 hour. That's too long.
No, that is far too long.
1 minute. Go.
I suck at drawing, and we hired someone else to do this.
Were you did you have a say with the Jhofffilms new logo?
Yeah. We had a couple people that we were working with on different designs. And we ended up going with a friend of ours from university. And yeah, we knew her prior, so logo's done.
With 35 seconds to spare. Nice. Probably the fastest one to do it. Oh. Now, it's no secret you are a huge Exodus fan. Everyone knows it. We all know it. We've all seen the shirt, the patch, everything. What really got you into like being such a huge Exodus fan?
Violence.
How do you feel about Bonded by Blood and then its predecessor, the remaster version, I guess, with the new album cover and name?
Oh, the one they did with Dukes back
Yes.
in, what was that, 2008, I want to say?
Yes.
Don't get me wrong, it's great because it reflects a different era of Exodus. I love Duke's era Exodus, but obviously I'm going to prefer OG Bonded by Blood over. But that album still rips in and of itself just because it's a modern sounding version of that album, and there's nothing wrong with that in my, because the band did it and it was their own eclectic decision. So you know what, kudos to them.
Excellent. Now, recently we've had the sad loss of Slayer. You saw them at their very final performance in Montreal, in Canada. What was that like to see that last performance?
I mean, it was fucking awesome because we finally finished all the interviews and stuff, and we actually got to party that day. Well, granted, we were partying the first day too, but it was just nice because it was the end of the festival, and it was just awesome just to be a part of that, and we had the best view, and we got to film everything too. So that's one thing I'm really grateful for, is that, you know, we had the media passes and everything, so we could film and be part of that.
Now, you filmed a bunch of interviews with a lot of big name bands. What band for you was the holy crap, I'm actually getting to interview them?
I mean, all the bands have been really cool. They're all really down to earth people. I'd have to say probably the time we interviewed with Exodus, that was probably one of the biggest ones, just because it was, for me personally, it was just being on their tour bus and everything. Okay, we're cool. Security just walked by. But yeah, so. I don't need to get anyone in trouble. Fucking.
Wouldn't be the first time.
But even with Zet, like, he was super cool. He was super down to earth.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd probably say him.
Now, I've seen you a lot recently at a bunch of local shows for Raider, Invicta, and all them boys. Who for you has stood out the most this year for a local band?
I'd probably say the Cathartic Boys. Just because they're, I don't want to say, you know, just because they're newest to the scene or whatever, but, you know, I love what they're doing, and those guys are really hardworking, so. Dan and I really like their EP as well. If I'm being perfectly honest, if there's one EP that I've been listening to the most this year, it's probably theirs.
It's one of the best EPs I've heard in a long time. I love the combination of both thrash and progressive into one genre. It's perfect.
Yeah, plus Silosis just released another single, so Bennett's nutting himself, so I know he's going to be writing a lot more music, so I can't wait.
How do you feel about him constantly wearing an ABBA shirt to the performances?
I mean, you know what? He does his own thing. It's like Frankie Sinatra said. Who gives a fuck, right?
Yeah, fair enough. Now, as is no secret, you are a meme lord of the highest caliber, praised by John Keevil of Warbringer himself. What for you this year has been the standout meme of 2019?
Oh, fuck. I mean, I'm inclined to say Epstein didn't kill himself, just because I feel like that's been the most powerful meme of the year. I love it. There was just one James Hetfield meme I shared the other day. Getting lost within myself. Epstein didn't kill himself. I love it. Rhymes and everything. That's a beauty of it. Epstein can rhyme with so much other shit. So probably that.
That's brilliant. That's the first time I'm hearing that. That's excellent. But another meme that has been, I would say, pissing people off as of recently is the cat and lady meme.
Yeah, like, it was funny at first. It's just, you know, that's the thing with when it comes to normie memes. It gets old pretty quickly. So, yeah.
I think the best version of that meme I found, I'll show you it now. It's of the cat's face is on Santa Claus, and Santa Claus is spanking the girl. And it's just like, who the hell took time to create this? It's under the group chat, and it's...
Wow. I mean, I like that version better just because it's a bit more sexual. But, you know, that's what I love about memes. Someone takes the time for everything.
Yeah. Do you take time to create the perfect meme?
I mean, I don't take much time, because I think if you put too much time into it, it's like a really long shit. You can't overthink it. You just got to give her. So.
Now, there's something that you and me both share in common. It's a love for beer, hockey, and metal. What, for you, personally, do you feel brings the three together like butter on bread?
I'm inclined to say Don Cherry's Rock'em Sock'em hockey hits from the 90s. Just because those DVDs did include hockey, metal, and Cherry was usually drinking a beer on camera. But, you know, people get crazy with old age and shit, so it's unfortunate. It really is, but,
Yeah.
you know, those DVDs were rad. Other than that, you know, just going to concerts, being around the people that you care about, enjoying a cold brew, going to a hockey game, having beer with the boys after hockey.
Now, there's this one series that I'm assuming you both and Jhoff have been harassed about, the Cannabis Leaf series.
Yeah. Yeah.
What happened there?
Jhoff, okay, so our second cameraman shit the bed, and he wasn't able to make it for the second day. So Jhoff, like, it was just a last-minute decision. We got someone, and, like, they had no idea what they were doing. They had no idea how to follow the play and shit. They weren't inclined into hockey, and it was just a mixed mash of shit. I keep telling Jhoff, just edit the fucking thing and throw it up on there. But, you know, at this point, we've done so much other shit. I can't believe that people are still obsessing over that. It's hilarious.
Oh, come on. They just want to see the kick-ass jerseys.
Yeah, those jerseys were pretty sick.
Yeah. Did you update the jerseys now?
Well, you know, I'm finished university, so I'm not part of the Canvas
really?
Leafs. Yeah, no, I play for... My hockey team is called the Mighty Drunks. We play Wednesday nights at Canlan, Etobicoke. over at Martin Grove. So if you want to see me play hockey, yeah, do it. Call the Mighty Drunks.
You wouldn't happen to play like the Bar
Someone
Down?
endorse us. Bar Down, maybe.
Yeah, do you play against the Bar Down team?
I actually met Jesse from Bar Down during the Raptors parade. And I called him out. I was like, yo, I know you have that one pigeon Luca on your channel that doesn't know how to do his hair. I said, let me teach him how to fix his flow or something. I just said it as a joke, but I think he got mad, so. Because at first he responded, then I said that, and, you know, he stopped responding, so.
I mean,
I saw their one video where they're trying to beat Connor McDavid's record. And oh my god, those kids can't even fucking cross over. They look like the most absolute, like their knees look like they're made of Twizzlers. They bend so fucking much, and they couldn't even do a crossover properly. I almost want to do a video just to be like, this is how you actually do it if you can cross over like a human being. Fuck.
honestly, I would watch that.
Yeah. It's a matter of renting ice.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Plus,
Maybe.
that ain't cheap.
Yeah, maybe.
No, the one idea I have, maybe you guys can do it. We have a radio show, and one of the segments we have is called Guidelines to Metal, and the one we said is there's always a time to mosh.
Well, I mean, yeah, we kind of been doing that since day one with, like, you know, how to make metalhead friends when I'm, you know, just jumping out of the coat hanger. We try to incorporate as much of that as possible. And then the Slayer lawsuit video, where I just mosh over the lawyer. And that's a thing that you have to realize in life. You just have to, it doesn't, like, someone's going to stand up to you, be it your boss, your employer, or someone you just don't like. Sometimes you just got to fucking knock them over. I don't get, like, you just don't give two shits. Go through the problem. Fuck it.
Now, this is a touchy area that I'm having issues if I was to ever film, like, a video like that, where I would want to do a scene at a cemetery for a funeral, and it's just like the light shoulder tapping kind of thing.
Well, I mean, time and place for everything. I don't think moshing at a funeral is the best idea.
Yeah, that's what I started to think over time. At first, it was just like, that'd be funny, but then it's like...
There's also, you know, old people at funerals, too.
Yeah.
Very fragile, you know. So, don't mosh at funerals.
No. You heard it here from Chris himself. Do not mosh at funerals.
Yeah, don't do that.
Okay, now, you are a moshing, pit, and wall death expert. What for you has been the most brutalist wall death or pit in all of your concert-going experiences?
I mean, I saw Lamb of God at the Phoenix in 2012. It was January, and it was an awesome day because they did a autograph session over at the HMV on Queen Street when it was still there. Oh, wow. I miss when HMVs were still a thing. 2 for $25 CDs were the best thing on the face of the planet.
Yeah.
Sunrise, if you want to endorse me.
It's not the same.
I know, but, you know, Sunrise, if you want to endorse me. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, so, what was I saying?
We were talking. I asked you the craziest mosh pit, and you were saying Lamb of God, Phoenix.
Yeah, Lamb of God at the Phoenix, absolutely. Just because that show was oversold.
Oversold.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It wasn't a no just because of how many people were there, and it was fucking awesome. It was my first wall of death too, because at that point I hadn't been in a small club show, and that was my first small club show. Was Lamb of God at the Phoenix. They did a 4 or 5 day tour run, in anticipation for Resolution that came out that year. Or later, yeah.
Perfect. Now, recently I saw one of your favorite bands, Toxic Holocaust, live with Guar. Yeah. That pit just blew my mind because it didn't stop for the entire set list. And you went on record in one of their previous Jhofffilms videos that you did get a concussion at a Toxic Holocaust concert.
Yeah, I did. It was Toxic Holocaust when they were over at Lee's Palace in 2017. Yeah. Okay, so what happened was, I was in the pit, and my head went back because I was about to headbang, and then there was a dude who was like maybe just a little bit taller than me, right behind me, and he was just going forward, and like we just fucking bonged heads. And like, you know, he gave me his beer afterwards too. He was like, "Hey man, you want a drink?" I was like, "Ah, fuck it, sure." And then, you know, later on in the evening, I realized that, you know, hey, that bus sign shouldn't be moving right now. So, live and let learn. Mosh again every day though.
Excellent. Now, I'm assuming you've seen a bunch of our videos beforehand. I'm just assuming.
Just assuming.
Yeah, just assuming. I like to assume the people that come on for interviews have seen it and know what to expect.
Well, like my dick isn't out, so I'm not coming on anything.
I'm glad for that, personally.
Not unless Pornhub is endorsing my content. Pornhub endorse me.
Actually, I'm thinking of creating Thrash Hub.
Thrash Hub. So what would that be? Just a lot of sweaty guys in t-shirts together? That's only one category.
No, I'm just thinking of making it more for just memes and stuff between thrash bands.
That works. That works too. It's not porn, but you know, it's memes. Next best
The
thing.
idea is there.
Yeah, exactly.
We actually did it for an assignment for college, and we fucking failed it because
fuck.
we put the main objective is for metal bands to share memes with each other.
Well, what was the objective of the assignment?
Create a business plan.
I mean, it was a good try. It was a good attempt. You know, I would have given him points for effort, maybe C minus. But you know, c'est la vie. It's college.
Fair enough. Now we're gonna ask you one last question that we ask everyone who comes on the channel. I already know you know this, and I feel stupid for asking you already because you basically taught everyone this. Who would win in a fight, Lemmy or God?
Lemmy is God.
Exactly. There's no point in me asking, but
Yeah, but you know,
like it's still always good to ensure that he's not a poser. But if you are looking for a poser disposer, he's your guy. You still do that?
every day.
Every damn day. Excellent. Well, Chris, thank you so much for coming on Thrash's Paradise today.
Thank
We
you
really
for having
appreciate it.
me.
No problem. Can you let us know of anything that's happening recent with you or Jhoff or the film or whatever?
We upload new content all the time. Fucking watch. And if your company wants to endorse us, I'm open to that.
No, they do not upload just once a year.
Correct. We upload every fucking week, actually. So there you go.
And until next time, keep on thrashing.
Woke up on the floor in a fucking day.